I don't know if I should call myself the smartest girl in town or the biggest clown. The day I introduced my best friend Rhoda to my boyfriend Gideon, I was smiling like someone who just won a lottery. I even told her, "This is my Gideon. He is handsome, gentle, and all mine." I didn't know that my all mine was about to become her all hers. Rhoda and I had been friends since we were kids. We shared food, clothes, secrets, and even school punishments. She was the type of friend you could call at 2 a.m. and she would show up with snacks. She was beautiful, yes, but I never thought beauty could be dangerous until I saw what happened next. That day, we were all sitting at a small cafe, laughing. Gideon was telling one of his silly stories about how he once fell into a gutter while trying to impress a girl at a bus stop. Rhoda laughed so hard she nearly spilled her drink. And I laughed too, but then I noticed something. Gideon kept looking at her when he talked. Not me, I told myself, Susan. Stop thinking nonsense. They are just being friendly. But my brain replied, friendly today, lovers tomorrow. Still, I ignored it because, come on, this is Rhoda, my sister from another mother. We left the cafe, and Gideon offered to drop her home. I jumped in the car too. But the way they kept talking like I was invisible made me feel like the spare tire in my own relationship. That night, while I lay in bed, I kept replaying the moment I proudly introduced them. Why was I so excited? I should have just kept my Gideon locked away like treasure. Instead, I handed him over like free bread in the market. But then again, maybe I was overthinking. Maybe it was just my mind playing tricks on me. Still, deep inside, something told me that I had just made the biggest mistake of my life. At first, I told myself I was just being paranoid, but the signs started jumping at me like mosquitoes in the rainy season. Gideon used to text me, "Good morning, sunshine," before I even opened my eyes. Now some mornings I had to text first, and even then, his reply would come hours later with, "Sorry babe, I was busy." Busy doing what? Counting the clouds. One afternoon, I called him, and he said he was with a friend. His voice sounded too soft, like he was smiling while talking. I asked who, and he quickly changed the topic to football. My heart didn't feel right. Then I started noticing Rhoda acting different too. She used to tell me everything, what she ate, what she wore, even how her dog barked at the neighbor. Now, she was suddenly quiet about her day. And whenever I asked, she would say, "Oh, nothing much, just stayed home." Stayed home with makeup on. One day, I caught Gideon using a cologne I had never bought for him. When I asked where he got it, he said, "It's a gift from someone." Someone? I almost asked if that Somion had long curly hair and a laugh that could make birds stop flying. But I kept quiet, trying to act like a calm girlfriend. The real slap came when we all met at a small birthday party for a mutual friend. Gideon was there, Rhoda was there, and I was there too. But the way they kept whispering and smiling at each other made me feel like the party was theirs, and I was just the DJ. At one point, I even caught Rhoda fixing his shirt collar. My own best friend, touching my boyfriend like she was auditioning to be his tailor. That night, I sat in my room staring at the ceiling fan, wondering when I became an extra in my own love story. I still told myself maybe it's not what I think. But deep down, a little voice in my head kept saying, "Susan, wake up. The movie has already started. And you are not the main character anymore." The day I finally saw the truth with my own eyes, it felt like my heart tripped and fell down a staircase. I was walking to the small ice cream shop near my house, the one where Gideon and I always sat at the corner table. As I got closer, I saw two people sitting exactly at that table, leaning close like they were sharing secrets with their lips. I squinted, thinking my eyes were playing tricks on me. But no, it was Rhoda, and it was Gideon, and it was my heart in a blender. I froze outside the shop like a mannequin, watching my best friend touch my boyfriend's hand, while laughing at something he said. I wanted to storm in and shout, "Excuse me, is this a friendship meeting or an engagement party?" But instead, I just stood there, feeling my stomach twist like I had eaten spoiled beans. When they finally noticed me, Gideon's smile disappeared faster than my trust. Rhoda looked shocked for half a second, then smiled like she was innocent. "Susan, oh hi, we were just talking about you," she said. My brain wanted to reply, talking about how to steal my boyfriend, but my mouth stayed silent. I just nodded and walked away, pretending to be calm, but inside, my heart was screaming. That night, I cried so much I thought my pillow would drown. I kept asking myself how I could have been so blind. Rhoda, my best friend, the girl who knew every detail of my relationship, had used all that information to replace me. And Gideon, my Gideon, had let her. I went from feeling sad to feeling angry, then to feeling dangerous. If they thought I was just going to sit quietly and watch, they didn't know Susan. I decided that if Rhoda could use her beauty and character to collect Gideon, then I could use my own to collect him back. Maybe I would be sweet, maybe I would be cold, maybe I would play with his mind, until he remembered exactly why he fell for me in the first place. My tears dried and a small smile appeared on my face. The game had just begun. I woke up the next morning feeling like a new person. The old Susan who cried on her pillow was gone. The new Susan was ready for battle, but not the loud kind. This was going to be a sweet, quiet revenge. I started by ignoring Gideon completely. No calls, no texts, no good morning. Babe, let him wonder. Let him feel the empty space where I used to be. A few days later, I posted a picture of myself at the beach, smiling and wearing my favorite dress. My phone started buzzing like a trapped mosquito. Gideon called, I didn't answer. He texted, hey, can we talk? I read it and left him hanging. Meanwhile, I made sure to show up at places I knew he would be, looking happy, laughing with other people, and not even glancing in his direction. One afternoon, I went to a friend's barbecue, and of course, Gideon was there with Rhoda. I acted like they were part of the wall, but when I caught Gideon looking at me more than once, I knew my plan was working. I didn't stop there. I started being extra friendly to one of his closest friends, just enough to make him wonder if I had moved on. The next week, Gideon called again. This time I picked up, acting surprised, like I didn't expect him to remember my number. He started talking about how he missed the way things used to be. I laughed softly and said, oh, really? I didn't notice. I could hear the jealousy in his voice when he asked about the beach picture. That's when I knew I was winning. Slowly, I gave him tiny pieces of attention, just enough to keep him chasing. I talked to him about old memories, the ones that made him smile, but then I would end the conversation quickly, leaving him wanting more. It was like fishing. I would throw the bait, let him bite, then pull it away. The more I pulled away, the more he came closer, and every time Rhoda saw us talking, I could see her fake smile getting tighter. This was more than payback now, it was a game, and I was starting to enjoy it. It didn't take long before Gideon was calling me almost every day. He wanted to see me, to talk, to explain. He even started sending small gifts like chocolates and flowers, the same way he used to when we first met. Part of me felt happy that my plan was working, but another part of me kept asking, Susan, do you really want him back? Or do you just want to prove you can take him back? One evening, he showed up outside my house without warning. He looked tired, almost desperate. Susan, I made a mistake, he said. His voice soft. I miss you, I want us back. I crossed my arms and looked at him for a long time. In my head, I saw all the moments he had with Rhoda, the whispers, the smiles, the touch on his hand. My heart remembered the pain like it was yesterday, but my pride remembered something else. I had won. Rhoda thought she could take him forever. But here he was, standing in front of me, begging. For a moment, I imagined saying yes, running into his arms, and pretending none of it ever happened. But then I thought about trust. Trust is like a glass. Once it's broken, even if you glue it back together, you can still see the cracks. I smiled, not the sweet smile he used to love, but the smile of someone who had learned her lesson. Gideon, I said softly, I'm glad you realized your mistake. But this isn't about you anymore. It's about me. His face changed. What do you mean? I stepped closer, looking him in the eyes. I mean I'm not the same girl you took for granted. I'm not waiting for you anymore. His shoulders dropped, and I could see the regret in his eyes. But I didn't let it change my mind. I thanked him for the gifts, wished him well, and closed the door. That night, I laughed to myself. I had taken back my power, and that was better than taking back any boyfriend. As for Rhoda, she could have him now because I had something better. Thanks for watching. Bye.